Hey guys, I'm Justin Shantie from Monster Energy Kawasaki. I work for the number 9 of Adam Cincerillo, and I was going to show you guys how we here at Cowie put on decor seat covers. This is the exact seat cover that you guys can buy that we run on our bikes. Has a cool little skirt here on the front for you to line it up, and yeah, I was going to show you how we get it fitted and no wrinkles in it and put it on the race bike. So I laid out all the tools I use to put on the seat cover. Obviously you're going to need a air compressor. They make electric seat staple guns, but they're not really, you can get the job done, but they're not really powerful enough to get through the plastic base on all these bike seats. So I've got a pneumatic staple gun. I have a little air regulator here. It works really good around 80 to 90 PSI, so you don't blow through the seat cover material. Also some 6mm staples, heavy duty staples, wide crown. A little tack puller so I'll show you, you'll have to set some staples and then you might have to remove some to get stuff tighter. So little tack puller, and then I have my gear wrench pliers to pull the staples out that I need to remove to make stuff tighter. All right, so yeah, I'm just gonna hook up my air here. Got a little bit of a leak. I'm gonna set my pressure to about 80. You have to check it after a couple of staples go in. It'll kind of self-adjust. So first thing, obviously you're going to remove your stock seat cover or the seat cover that's on it previously. You'll just you'll lift up with like your tack puller. You lift all the staples out of it. I've already got this one ready. This was a brand new seat, Cowie 450. Same seat that Adam's going to run or Eli's going to run. So remove the old cover. You can kind of put that away. It'd be really hard to put that back on because they're too short. So you can pitch that. I've got the new decor seat cover here with the seat ribs. This goes along with our livery on our bike, graphics and everything for this year. Like I said, it's got this cool gasket to line it up along the front, and yeah, we'll get it put on here. So to start out, I just try to find the center here. So I like to do it sitting down, so I can kind of get a little more leverage over it. So I'll line it up. I'll get the front of the seat cover kind of centered up. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at both of the black lines here to make sure I'm in the center of the seat. The Cowie seat actually has a line to show you the center, so I'm kind of eyeballing that. You can adjust it a little bit down the road if you need to, but I want to also make sure that I get the seam line below like where you're going to see it on the tank. So I try to pull the green down a little bit further than you would probably expect. So about right there. I'm just going to throw 2 staples in the front right here in my center line. Just so that's where I start. Everything's kind of centered up here. And then what I do is I pull the cover. So the patch in the back is going to be towards the back. So the way they have it sewn on there and the way that we've asked them to sew it on there for you guys is to where I can get the seat pulled pretty tight and it not roll over the back. So I pull it, I get some good tension out of it. It's gonna make it easier down the road. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull it pretty tight. Obviously, you don't wanna go super tight because you won't be able to get to lay down, but when you get it, pretty tight, it's gonna be easier to get the wrinkles out of it. So I'm gonna pull it decently tight, and then I'm gonna do the same thing as the front. I'm gonna throw 2 staples in the back. The reason I do 2 is just because when you're going to be tightening on it, you don't want to pull the 1 staple out of the front and rip the material. So now that I have the front and the back kind of done, I'm going to check here and make sure I'm good with it lining up. So I'm going to next go on both of the logos here on the side of the patches, and where the sides of the seat are, I'm going to pull it tight like that and make sure the front of the seat runs down both sides at the same spot. So kind of get that lined up. All I'm doing here in these first couple steps is getting the seat lined up getting the cover lined up on the seat rather. So it's a little bit of body English on it, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to throw it around here, kind of hold it, throw a staple in there, and that's right on that line, and then I'm going to do the same thing, hold it tight, and pull it around here. Like I said, you'll be able to adjust it down the road. If you need to pull it right or left a little bit. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to go like maybe 6 inches up, and then I'm going to start pulling the cover around. And then from about here, you'll start to see how much more lining up you're gonna need to do. Or if you're gonna have to go back and like loosen a staple and get some more slack out of it. So I'm about middle of the seat now. All that's looking good. We're lined up on both sides pretty well. We have a few wrinkles, but we'll pull all those out towards the end. I'm gonna move up a little bit, making sure I don't pull, like I don't wanna pull too much of this down because then you're over the edge. So you're gonna pull it about where you think the other side's gonna end up. And it's all a little bit of trial and error, because if you need to, if I pulled that too far, I can always take my tack puller, pull the staple back out and start over. That's why you don't wanna have too much pressure on the staple gun, because it'll blow right through the material and then you'll have a big hole there. And it gets real critical here towards the back when you're trying to get all these wrinkles out. So from there, let's go over here. Let's pull it down a bit. My staple gun is leaking air. So, all right, you get up around the nose here. One little trick. One little trick that I found here. So remember, on the inside of this, there's this skirt which is sewn onto the seat cover material. So I try to put my finger up here and make that seam, just kind of like the seam on your t-shirt. I try to make it lay down towards the foam. If not, you'll have a wrinkle in the side of the seat right here. And I like for this to be real nice, a real nice fold over here. You don't want it to be too tight. You'll lose a lot of the foam underneath it and it'll look kind of weird when it gets on the bike. So I'm gonna try and pull all that material down flat. I think we got it there. Try it one more time here. Yeah. All right, so I got that. Plug in this loud machine again. All right. So same thing, you're gonna pull that, and then you're gonna go to the other side and you make sure that's unwrinkled as well. Or folded in there. All right, that looks good. So throw a staple in. You're gonna try to get over the foam here, because the staples aren't exactly, you wanna make sure the staples are short enough to where they don't come through and you don't feel them through your pants on the back of the seat, and you don't want it digging in to the foam on this side. So try to pull it tight enough to get it past that foam so you get a good staple in the base there. The next few staples are just going to be just pulling material, checking, side to side, and then pulling more material. Looks pretty good. The nose looks good for me. It's all lined up. Then we'll just keep working on the back a little bit. I want to get a little bit of this out. Sometimes with these ribs here, it's a little difficult because that's the biggest pocket of the seat. So like I said, I'm not super worried about every single little wrinkle because it will pull itself out. Other than that, everything looks square, lined up, patches are good. We already did the front. Like I said, I'm not super worried about that. That's gonna come out as soon as I mount the seat up on the bike. And then from there, you don't have to get crazy with the staples. We have just about all of them that we need, but we wanna make sure there's no big gaps like this. So I'm just gonna go through and throw some staples. Just put some tension on the material. We've already lined everything up, so you're just gonna put some tension on the material and lay it down, make sure there's not big gaps in between the material and the seat. All right, there we go. Yeah, like I said, there's a little wrinkle here, but I'm not worried about it with the way that these seats are made and they go on the bike. So that's a finished seat cover there. From there, just be really careful. You can either come around with scissors and you're gonna trim all this extra off because you don't want it sitting anywhere where it's supposed to mate up against the tank or the subframe. So I like to use a little X-Acto knife. If you're not comfortable with the knife and freehanding it, scissors will do fine too. So I just come around and just kind of go slow. I guide my my knife with my pinky on the outside of the seat and just stay about a ½ inch away from the staples. This part here gets a little, the skirt is a little harder to cut through. My blade is not that sharp. So up front, depending on your seat, you might not need to do anything there. I'm gonna leave it like that. So then I'm gonna go down this side. I'm actually gonna start from the front on this one. get it started, go slow. Last thing you need at this point is to cut through where you're not going to be able to fix a part of the material that you cut past the staple. So scissors, like I said, work good too. So come down here, right by the seat there. All right, so both sides are all cleaned up, and then in the back's a little tricky just because we have all that wrinkled up. So again, the key, get started and go slow. I'm trying not to get near those staples because you don't want there to be any pressure from the seat cover pulling against the staples and it not have enough to grab and then it rip through. And at this point, you've already cut so much of it off, it'd be hard to adjust it. So, all right, that's about what it looks like there. Finished cover there, and she's ready to be mounted up on the bike.